What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the specs and features of the iPhone 6 Plus to the LG G3. Now the 6 Plus was just announced yesterday along with the iPhone 6, and it's Apple's first attempt into this screen size, this form factor, the larger form factor. LG have been making larger devices for quite some time now, so how does the 6 Plus compete with the G3? Well, do hit that thumbs up button and let's find out in this head-to-head spec comparison. Now before I start, just to mention that if you do want to see a full hands-on review of the LG G3, you can see that on the channel. I will be linking that in the description below. Now in terms of the dimensions, so looking at the differences in terms of the physical size of the devices, the LG G3 comes in quite a bit smaller compared to the 6 Plus, 11.8 millimeters in terms of the height, 3.2 millimeters in terms of the width, but it is 1.8 millimeters thicker. So although it is thicker, overall very compact, and this is really good to see considering that they both have the same screen size. You've got a 5.5 inch screen on both devices. So LG, hats off to them for providing one of the most compact devices in this screen size. You've got some very small bezels on the G3, and it's really impressive how they've managed to do this. I mean, 11.8 millimeters smaller in terms of height, definitely quite a big deal, and it's impressive how LG have managed to do this. Now there is a slight difference in the type of screens. Both are IPS LCD displays, but the iPhone 6 Plus has an LED backlit system. Now what I've found in my experience of using the iPhone 5S and the LG G3 is that the 5S is slightly brighter compared to the G3. This is going to come down to personal preference. There's also a difference in terms of resolution. So the 6 Plus has a full 1080p resolution, so that's 1920 by 1080, and it works out to roughly about 401 pixels per inch. The G3 has a Quad HD display, so that's 2560 by 1440, so that works out to roughly about 538 ppi pixel density, which is absolutely insane, that amount of pixels on a smartphone. So the pixels edge definitely goes to the G3 here. Now it's going to come down to your personal preference on whether you actually think you need that many pixels or not. I mean, 1080p is definitely not bad on a 5.5 inch display, and 400 ppi is also pretty good. Now in terms of the weight, the G3 also comes in lighter, 23 grams lighter compared to the iPhone 6 Plus. That does partly come down to the build. The 6 Plus has that unibody design, so it's metal unibody design, quite premium. It's slightly different to previous models. You've got a bit more of a curve back here. The G3 does have a plastic build, but it's got metallic skin, and it does look quite premium. In my experience of using it, it does definitely look the part, and that plastic build means that you've got a low weight, and it also allows for a removable back, which gives you access to a battery as well as expandable storage, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. So it's going to come down to your personal preference. Are you willing to compromise with that plastic build for those features? I mean, I am seeing it's a plastic build, but because of that metallic finish, it does definitely look quite good, but it will come down to personal preference. Now looking at the internals, the G3, you've got a quad-core 2.5 GHz processor, which is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 801, and it's got the Adreno 330 GPU, so quite high specs, and even though you've got that many pixels, it still performs very well. The Apple iPhone 6 Plus comes with the Apple A8 processor. Now the clock speed hasn't been fully specified as yet. We're expecting a dual-core 1.4 GHz, and it also comes with the M8 Motion co-processor. Now the main processor is a 64-bit chip, so although the clock speed may not be seeming great on here, in terms of performance we should be expecting some good things. We will have to put these side by side to see the differences in performance because they're also using different operating systems. The G3 comes with either 3 GB of RAM or 2 GB of RAM. The iPhone 6 Plus, once again, they've not specified this. We're expecting roughly about 2 GB of RAM. Once again, we're going to have to put these side by side to see actual performance. Storage versions of the G3, you've got 16 GB or 32 GB. Now the 16 GB version has the 2 GB of RAM, and the 32 GB version has the 3 GB of RAM. So those are the two different options you've got available on here. The iPhone 6 Plus, you've got 16, 64 and 128 GB storage versions. So they've ditched the 32 GB version, which they used to have previously. So you've got another option here on the iPhone 6 Plus, but you don't have any expandable storage on the 6 Plus, as you've never had on any of the Apple devices. On the G3, you do have expandable storage up to 128 GB via a micro SD card slot. So the advantage of storage definitely goes to the G3, I would say. Because of that expandable storage, you could get the base model, the 16 GB version of the G3, and get 128 GB a micro SD card, and you'll have more storage than the top version of the iPhone 6 Plus. Now looking at the cameras, the iPhone 6 Plus has an 8 megapixel rear facing camera, whereas the G3 has a 13 megapixel rear facing camera. So you do have a high resolution here on the LG G3. Both devices also have optical image stabilization, which is absolutely great. And you've also got a dual LED flash on both of these. Now in terms of focus, the iPhone 6 Plus uses face detection focus, which is supposed to be quite a bit faster compared to previous models. The G3 uses something different, laser autofocus, so super fast autofocus. We are going to have to put these side by side to see which one performs better. The laser autofocus in my experience has been absolutely great. You can see lots of tests and results on the channel for that. And in terms of video, the G3 does film at up to 4K, so that's 2160p at 30 frames a second, which is absolutely great. You've also got slow motion, so 720p at 120 frames a second. Now with the iPhone 6 Plus, you've only got 1080p, that is at 60 frames a second, however, so that is pretty good, but you don't have 4K. This is something we didn't expect Apple to do anyway. But you've got 720p at 240 frames a second, so that's absolutely insane having that kind of slow motion on a smartphone, and I'm sure it's going to be really good. You know, you're going to be able to get some very interesting shots with the iPhone 6 Plus. Looking at the front facing cameras, the G3 has a 2 megapixel front facing camera, which is capable of filming 1080p HD. The iPhone 6 Plus still has a 1.2 megapixel front facing camera, which is only capable of filming 720p HD. So now I would have liked to have seen a higher resolution on the front facing camera of the iPhone 6 Plus. They've had the same resolution from the iPhone 5 to the iPhone 5S and now to the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus as well. I mean, having that high resolution would definitely have been beneficial. I mean, it's supposed to be better in low light compared to previous models, but still at 1.2 megapixels. Now moving on to the operating systems, the G3 comes with Android 4.4.2 KitKat, so it's not the latest version, and you are going to have to wait for the latest versions from LG, because it's got the LG Optimus UI on top. The Optimus UI is quite nice, and it does bring some additional features such as multi-window and things, but you are going to have to wait for those updates because they're not going to be coming directly from Google. On the Apple iPhone 6 Plus, you've got Apple's iOS 8, so that's the latest version. You're going to be getting updates directly from Apple, which is definitely an advantage here. In terms of which one's better, it is going to come down to personal preference. Now looking at some of the additional features that both these devices offer, firstly, you've got a lightning connector on the iPhone 6 Plus. Now this is reversible, which is an advantage, but it's also very expensive and it's not universal. The LG G3 comes with a micro USB connector, which is universal, and it's also very cheap compared to the lightning connector. Now the Apple iPhone 6 Plus also comes with Touch ID, so this is the fingerprint scanner on the home button, which is absolutely great. I've used it a lot on the iPhone 5S, and it's definitely the best fingerprint reading technology that you've got on any smartphone right now. And this is also going to be integrated now with Apple Pay. So Apple Pay is something new that they're introducing. They're partnering with lots of different providers to be able to let you make payments really easily and authorize those with Touch ID. Now the LG G3 comes with some of its own features. Firstly, you've got a 1-watt speaker with a booster amp, which gives you some louder sound on here. And then you've also not got any buttons on the sides. This is something unique, so you've got buttons at the back, so this sort of separates the LG G3 apart from other devices, and it also gives it quite a thin side. So I mean, the back is quite curved and it does fit quite nicely in the hand. Now looking at the batteries, the G3 comes with a 3000 milliamp battery, which is removable, so you can carry on the spare or you can replace it altogether. The iPhone 6 Plus, they've not specified the exact milliamps of the battery. It's definitely going to be larger compared to previous models, but we don't know the exact milliamps of it, and it's not going to be removable, so you are going to be stuck with what you've got. In terms of usage and performance, we are going to have to put these side by side. With the G3, from using it, I got a full day without any problems. Even though it's got that high resolution and it's pushing out that many more pixels, I got a full day out of it without any problems whatsoever, over 5 hours of on-screen time. Now finally, looking at the price, the G3, you can pick it up for roughly about £400 in the UK, or around about $550 in the US, so it's definitely dropped quite a bit in price since it initially released, and for what you're getting, that is definitely some good value for money. Now, the iPhone 6 Plus, you're going to be able to get it from September the 19th, and it's going to be priced at around about £620 in the UK, around about $750 in the US. So the G3 coming in quite a bit cheaper, almost a third cheaper in terms of pounds compared to the iPhone 6 Plus, so that's going to definitely play a big factor here. And those are the key differences between the LG G3 and the iPhone 6 Plus. Now overall, I think the G3, it's really great that they've got a more compact device at the same screen size with a Quad HD display. Now with Apple, this is the first time they've done something at this screen size, 5.5 inch screen. They've usually just stuck to a 4-inch screen, so this is an interesting move from Apple. Which one do you think is better, and which one would you go for? Do drop me a comment comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, as always, please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And why not subscribe to the channel? I've got plenty more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV. And I'll see you next time. If you want to see more regular videos like this one, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, which will be below. If you're on a mobile device, it may be somewhere else. If you want to see my previous related video, then hit the link right here. And if you want to stay in touch over Facebook, Twitter and Google+, then all of the addresses will be there somewhere, as well as direct links in the description below. Okay, if you're still watching, then that means you've not done one of those things, so no. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna go downstairs. See. Okay. There isn't really a downstairs. Anyway, so yeah.